This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, Heather Ho, there's Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe on the state. And the month of September. I talked about this moment in 1984. On the final day of the 1984 MLB season, a season which saw the Detroit Tigers basically go from pillar to post, winning the AL East by 15 games over my beloved Toronto Blue Jays. The Kansas City Royals being the victim of the Tigers in the ALCS. The San Diego Padres one game away from being eliminated by the Chicago Cubs in the LCS, pulling 3 straight wins to go to the postseason and to force the Tigers to a Game 5. But anyway, on the final day, Mike Witt, the tall 6'10 right-hander, would pitch the Angels to a big game in Arlington against the Texas Rangers on the final day of the season. So this is the story of Mike Witt's perfect game. Now, I know that there have been some no-hitters pitched on the final day of the season. Anibal Sanchez and Jordan Zimmerman comes to mind. But because this is a perfect game, it takes precedence. So anyhow, Mike Witt was a great pitcher for the Angels. Both the Angels and Rangers were eliminated, and only 8,300 people saw the game live from the ballpark in Arlington. Charlie Huh, who was a pretty good knuckleballer, and the guy who gave up Reggie Jackson's third home run in the 77 World Series, was the opposing pitcher and gave up a run. So the Angels beat the Rangers 1-0 in the 7th inning. Anyway, there were some huge and all that. Texas manager Doug Rader actually said the Rangers had a tough time seeing pitches because of the sun's glare, and some Ranger players complained that the strike zone was too big and Greg Kosk should be blamed for it. There was little publicity about this. In fact, the Angels and Rangers were playing on the Sunday during a Dallas Cowboys game. Ironically, Mike Witt would actually finish with a win-loss record of 117 and 116. So if it wasn't for the perfect game, if he had a no decision, it would have been a 500 mark. So anyway, perfect game to everyone knowledge is when one or more pitchers for one team complete a full game with no batter from the opposing team reaching base. So practically, if you're hit by a pitch, you walk, or you go to first base by catcher's interference, or get a base hit and all that, or fielding errors, then that gets you on base. So no one would be on base. None of them. Only 24 perfect games have been thrown. There hadn't been a perfect game since 1981 when Len Barker put a perfecto on the Blue Jays, who were struggling at the time. Anyway, Mike Witt was drafted by the Angels in 1978. It was part of the opening day roster in 1981. 5th in Rookie of the Year voting, he actually was a starting pitcher / long reliever. Witt came off the 83 season 7-14. He actually pitched in Venezuela during the offseason to hone his skills and actually sought the help of hypnosis to increase his concentration. And Witt would put up 15 wins, 3rd in strikeouts at 223. So yeah, Arlington Stadium, not the current Texas Stadium or even the one before that. So anyway, it had the Texas-sized scoreboard, if you will. So anyway, the Angels would play the Rangers. Only 8,300 fans came in. Charlie Hood was a good knuckleball pitcher. Witt was perfect. Was perfect through the first 3 and struck out 4 of the 9 batters and all that. Hood even said that the stuff he's got a chance to do it. After an uneventful 4th inning, Larry Parrish of the Rangers led up in the 5th with a bouncing ground ball to Doug DeSensis. Fortunately, he fielded the ball barehanded and got a perfect throw off to first base. It was a pitcher's duel. Hood had just basically given the Angels fits, and Mike Witt was giving the Rangers fits. So anyway, in the 7th inning, Doug DeSensis hit a single and then off of a pass ball by the Texas catcher. I mean, after all, probably had to catch a knuckler. DeSensis got to second base. Not Rupert Jones. I'm reading that wrong. Reggie Jackson hit a fielder's choice to score the run. The run was unearned because of the pass ball. So yeah, due to the pass ball, Hood was credited with an unearned run. Witt looked like he was going to walk Wayne Tollison, who had a 3-ball no-strike count. Witt knew that Tollefson was not going to swing at the next few pitches. We're trying to work a ball. Anyway, Tollefson grounded out on the 3-2 pitch to second baseman Rob Wilfong. People began to realize Witt was throwing a perfect game and all that. Witt's wife was in attendance and knew her husband was pitching a no-hitter and all that. So, anyway, in the 8th inning, Larry Parrish hit a long fly ball, which everyone thought it was a home run, but at the warning track, Mike Brown caught it. Witt then struck out the next 2 batters and took the perfect game to the 9th. Let's not forget that when I was watching the replay, that in the 8th inning, there was a scandal about the Angels had like a double and all that, and a fan touched the ball, even though it was in play and all that. Regardless of that, he struck out Tom Dunbar, and then Witt had a ground ball out from Bobby Jones, the pinch hitter, not the golfer. And then Mark Foley came in as a pinch hitter and unfortunately grounded out to Witt. Game, set, match. The game lasted 1 hour, 49 minutes. That's amazing. A game lasting less than 2 hours? Cal surprise. But remember, that's his baseball in the 80s, not the 2020s. Witt would throw a lot of curveballs. He struck out 10 and had a game score of 97, which you start out with 100 points, and for every mistake you make, points are deducted, but if it's good moments, then points get added. Regardless of that, Witt couldn't believe it. At 6'10", he was the tallest pitcher to pitch a no-hitter at the time. Let's not forget that Randy Johnson did pitch a no-hitter / perfect game. Also perfect game at 6'11". So anyway, Witt couldn't believe it and all of that. He was focused on winning the game and all of that. And of course, Doug Rader, the Raiders manager, complained about the sun and all that. Anyway, they actually said that this was the least publicized perfect game since World War II, which is kind of weird. I thought that the Cleveland-Toronto game would be that. But anyway, yeah, it occurred on the final day of the season. 2 teams didn't make the playoffs, and the Cowboys were facing the Bears. Dallas newspapers didn't talk much about Witt's perfect game. They focused all their energy on the Cowboys, and so they should. But Mike Witt did not suffer after the perfect game. In '85, the next year, he actually won 18 games, which was pretty impressive. He helped the Angels get to the that was 1986, become the ace of the pitching staff. And then in '86, he got the Angels to the ALCS and were 1 win away from going to the World Series. If memory serves me right, I think, was it he who was pitching Game 5 for the Angels and then was taken out for Gary Lucas, who then plunked Rich Gedman, and then Donnie Moore gave up the fateful home run to Hundu. I think it was him. I think it was Mike Witt. And all that. Because I remember that. Yeah, Mike Witt in the 9th inning of Game 5 of Boston, California, allowed the lead single to Buckner, struck out Jim Rice. And then Don Baylor hit a home run, and then Witt was replaced. Okay, fair enough. It wasn't his fault the Angels lost to Boston in 7 games. Witt was an all-star, but his pitching started to suffer after '87. And then in 1990, he was traded to the Yankees for Dave Winfield. The Dave Winfield trade, of course, Steinbrenner wanted Winfield out of New York any way possible. He would retire during the '93 season and have a couple of mediocre seasons with the Yankees. Witt would finish 117 and 116 in his career. So the players involved, the Angels had Rob Wilford at second to start. Darryl Sconiers at first before Bobby Grinch replaced him. Fred Lynn playing center field, then moved to right field. Doug DeCensis at third. Brian Downing left before Darryl Thomas came in. Reggie Jackson was the DH. Mike Brown was the right fielder before Gary Pettis came in to play defensively. Bob Boone at catcher. Dick Schofield at shortstop. Texas had Mickey Rivers at DH. Wayne Tollefson at second. Gary Ward at left. Larry Parrish at third. Pete O'Brien at first. George right in center. Tom Dunbar in right. Donnie Scott was the catcher before Bobby Jones pinch hit for him. Curtis Wilkerson was the shortstop before Mark Foley came in for him. So amazing. The perfect game was there, and Mike Witt did it. I don't care what you think, but Mike Witt threw a perfect game. Come on. Len Barker threw a perfect game, and he's not really well known either. So what's the difference? Anyhow, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.